Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Parshas vaera, pretty exciting. Things are starting to get serious. Mitzrayim, starting to break the spoiler alert. Really interesting. In the beginning of the parsha, it starts off as Vayidaber, strong lashon, Vayidaber lakim el Moshe. Speak to Paro. Moshe's turning down what Hashem is requesting, and Ras Vasayim. It's a whole situation taking place at the start of the parsha. The only question is that, so what does Rashi say? Rashi says that it's a harsh lashon. Vayidaber lakim el Moshe. It's a harsh lashon, Rashi says, because Moshe wasn't going along with the program. Hashem wants Moshe to speak to Paro, speak to Bnei Yisrael, refuses. Signs, they'll listen to you, they don't listen, makes it worse. Doesn't want to speak to Paro. And then the parsha last week, Moshe not only just doesn't want to go, but Moshe tells Hashem, you made it worse. Riosa, you made it worse. You told me to do these things to help the people, bring them out of Mitzrayim, and it's worse. They're not just in Mitzrayim, but it's more work. So last week I was so one of the farm I'm in the middle of is Ali Shore, and there's a really intense piece in the first chelek called Das Atzmeinu, knowing yourself. So the first shtickle of Ali Shore is kind of general tefillah, what Gemara is, having a chevra, don't give up, nice things, light things, and then it turns up the volume where it talks about knowing yourself and knowing what your weakness is, knowing your strengths, and knowing that you're the guf and the neshama, and you can't shun one over the other. You have to find that place in the middle. So I'm kind of stuck in this Das Atzmeinu, didn't really understand it that well. So I look on YU Torah, and there's a lot of shurim on Ali Shore, but none of them really spoke to that piece of Das Atzmeinu. So I just typed in Das Atzmeinu, and lo and behold, some shurim came up with a Rabbi Zvi Davidson, British fellow, and had some really interesting insights. Never heard of him, but you look in YU Torah, Zvi Davidson is associated with Karen Biavna, KBY. So I got the yeshiva's email. I emailed this rabbi. I said, I'm really enjoying the Yeshurim. It really is very insightful. And he says, oh, thanks for emailing me. I'd like to meet you one day. And I said, you know what? Saturday night, Karen Biavna is about 30 minutes from Beit Shemesh. And that's what we did. My friend Sammy and I, we went to KBY. First time I was there really in a bunch of years. My older son, went there. So I haven't been there in a bunch of years. So I went to meet this Rabbi Zvi Davidson. He really helped me out as far as what the piece was, but he gave a very interesting insight into this parsha, because Rashi is great. Vayidaber lakim, fantastic, but no one knows the pasuk before. If you turn back a page in Shmos, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe. Hashem says to Moshe. So you have Vayomer and Hashem, which is a softer lashon. Then you have Vayidaber lakim. So Rashi is great. Well, it was a harsh reply, but everyone forgets that the pasuk before that is Vayomer. So is it a harsh reply, or it's an easy reply and a harsh reply? What's taking place here? So this Rabbi Zvi Davidson said he heard in a shir years before that there's two things going on here, which is so interesting. Is that yes, there is a harsh reply Vayidaber lakim, but there's also a soft reply. There's also a soft reply in Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, because while Moshe spoke harshly and he accused Hashem of hurting the people, Moshe was doing the right thing. Moshe is taking the place as leader. Moshe actually did step up to the plate and actually risked his life and spoke to the people who they weren't fans of him. And he spoke to Paro, risking his life. The Medrash says that they had magicians, sorcerers, they had animals, they had soldiers. It was like a nace that Moshe even come to Paro. So Moshe risked his life. So that was fine. That was a good thing. The problem was the manner in which he did it. That was not the proper way to do it. And we have a v'yomer. So there's a soft reply to Moshe that yes, you're doing the right thing. Yes, you showed initiative and finally going to Paro, risking your life to the Jewish people. The problem was the manner in which you did it. And Rabbi Zvi Davidson said, this applies to our lives. There's so many times when you want to get something done with your coworkers, with your boss, with your wife, with your spouse, and if you do it the wrong way, the whole message is gone. So you can kind of be right, and you want X done, or you want Y done, or Z. Do it the wrong way, your whole message is shot. If you want your coworker to do something, if you don't approach it the right way, you'll never get it done, and you have more animosity than where you started from. You want to give somebody musar, you could be right, but if the manner is incorrect, then you got nothing. So there's actually a very interesting insight actually into Das Atzmeinu, into Ali Shor. In Das Atzmeinu, it talks about that you have your teva, you have your guf, but you have your neshama, and these things have to be aligned together. And perhaps this is maybe Ali Shor is alluding to what Moshe is doing. Moshe showing leadership. Moshe, he showed when he was in the Midbar. Before Mitzrayim, he actually was helping the animals, and he helps the daughters of Yisro. He helps, according to the Medrash, he helps the people of Cush win a battle. So perhaps the leadership of Moshe and helping people, that was 100%. And when there was some snag and there's some issue, Moshe just kind of loses it. So perhaps Moshe let his teva take place, or his guf take place, and his moach, his das, didn't catch up, and they have to be aligned. Yes, Moshe was right, and that seemingly he made things worse for the people. Seemingly they're working harder, but instead of lashing out, to try to understand what's the purpose. And the truth is, yes, we need Mitzrayim. Things are going to get worse before they get better. The Makos are going to start, and the Jewish people now also have to learn from the Makos that Hashem is the rule. It's not just punishing Mitzrayim, but these Makos are for the Jewish people too. And then, after the Makos, and after 49 days, and at Har Sinai, now you can kind of see the point. So yeah, Moshe was right. Things did get worse for the Jewish people, but we don't know the whole picture. And it's not just us. Moshe apparently also didn't know the whole picture. The Avos perhaps knew the whole story, what's going to happen. But Moshe, because of his zealousness to help the Jewish people, when there was a snag in the road, perhaps he lost it and complained by Hashem. And that's kind of, I think, the lesson for us. We have good intentions. Sometimes we let our emotions get ahead of our intelligence, or sometimes we let our intelligence rule and not knowing if we can handle it or not. We'll stay up learning or doing something spiritual, and then the next day you're just not well. So that happens too. And the point is to kind of grow your moach, your neshama, and your guf together. We don't want our guf to be one area. We don't want to shun our guf. It's not like, you have a weakness, shun it. Oh, too much internet, turn off internet. Kids are too clingy, that's it. They're horrible people. No. If there's a need, you have to find out what the need is and try to fill it the right way. That's kind of what we're trying to do here. Shabbat Shalom.